Okay, if you're in the HVAC business, you already know this. The most urgent calls, the ones that are worth the most money, they almost always come in after everyone's clocked out. So the big question is, how do you make sure those panicked after-hours calls actually turn into profitable jobs instead of just missed opportunities? Well, the answer might not be what you think. Let's break down how you can turn those late-night emergencies into your biggest win.
I want you to picture this exact scenario. It's 2 a.m., it is freezing cold, and a customer's furnace just completely died. They're scrolling through their phone, desperate for anyone to help, and they call you first. So, what do they hear? A phone that just rings and rings? A generic robotic voicemail prompt? Or do they hear a helpful voice that can solve their problem right then and there? That one single moment, that's where the job is won or lost.
And here's the absolute truth that so many businesses miss. It's not about how good your techs are. It's not even about the quality of your work. The number one reason you lose a high-value emergency job is simply because a competitor picked up the phone when you couldn't. It's that simple.
All right, so let's get into the real cost of voicemail, because trust me, it's so much more than just a missed call. It's a direct hit to your bottom line, and it's a hit to your reputation in a market where every single lead counts. Just try to think about it from the customer's perspective for a second. When they're in the middle of an emergency, they don't have time to wait around for a callback. Nope. They need a solution, and they need it now. The first company that answers, the first one to offer a real solution, is almost always the company that gets the job. Speed is literally everything.
And every single time that phone rings and goes unanswered, you're not just losing one potential customer. You're losing thousands of dollars in potential revenue from that repair, or maybe even a full system replacement. You're basically just forwarding that money directly to your competition.
So how do you actually solve this, right? How can you be available 24/7 without burning out your team or paying for those expensive and, let's be honest, often ineffective answering services? Well, the answer is in a new kind of technology that's designed for this exact problem.
So what in the world is an AI receptionist? First, forget everything you think you know about glorified voicemail. This is completely different. Think of it as your intelligent, always-on first point of contact. It answers every call, instantly. It actually understands why someone is calling, figures out how urgent it is, and then takes the right action, either booking the appointment directly into your calendar or connecting them straight to your on-call tech for a true emergency. Now, I know this might sound a little complex, but the process is actually incredibly smooth and streamlined. So let's just walk through exactly what happens from the moment a customer dials your number. You see, the perfect call flow has zero friction. There's no waiting, there's no confusion. The AI greets the caller with a professional voice, it asks smart questions to figure out the problem, it identifies the urgency, and then, and this is the key, it takes action. It either schedules the job right there on the spot or intelligently routes that call to the right person. So how does it know what a real emergency is? Well, it's been trained to listen for very specific keywords. Phrases like gas smell or infant in the house trigger an immediate escalation, bypassing any standard scheduling. And this isn't just smart business, you guys. It's a critical safety feature. Okay, so at this point, you're probably asking the same big questions everyone does. How does this really compare to a traditional answering service? What's it going to cost me? And is the quality actually good enough for my brand? Let's break all of that down. The biggest difference, really, it comes down to one thing: passive versus active. A traditional service is passive. It just takes a message, which, by the way, creates more work for you later. But the AI receptionist is active. It doesn't take messages, it books jobs. It doesn't just relay info, it connects people and automates all the follow-ups. And then there's the cost. When you look at the numbers, it's not even a close fight. Traditional services can easily run you hundreds and hundreds of dollars a month, not even counting overage fees. The AI solution? It's a tiny fraction of that. It transforms a major operational cost into a small, predictable, and totally manageable expense.
In fact, we're seeing businesses cut their operational costs for call handling by up to 60%. I mean, think about that. That's significant savings that you can put right back into growing your business, all while capturing more leads.
And this is probably the most important question of all, right? Your brand's reputation is everything. You've worked so hard to build trust with your customers, so the absolute last thing you want is some clunky, robotic voice representing your company. And you know what? That's a completely valid concern. And that concern is exactly why these modern AI systems are built for quality.
The voice technology is designed for natural, human-like conversations. The greeting is totally customizable, so it can match your brand's voice perfectly. And with amazing features like automatic bilingual support, you can actually provide a better, more accessible service to even more people in your community.
So we'll end with this thought. In today's on-demand world, let's be honest, voicemail is where leads go to die. If your phone system is sending paying customers to a recording, you really have to ask yourself, is that phone working for your business or is it working for your competition?